We're going to try to zoom in. I'm going to try to get it just right here if we can. So what I've got it sorted by right now, guys, the block 75, and I'll try to explain it for everybody on the podcast. 75 through 81 here are the Packers picks last year. Okay. And when you hear us talk about the cheese emoji, when you hear us talk about certain grades and this and that, this is what we mean by this. Okay. So Matthew Golden was our first pick, right? Well, and keep this in mind as well, guys. I've got this sorted by the draft grade that we had on these players. So if y'all want to do a side-by-side reference, I don't have where they were actually taken, although we can pretty much guess about where they were taken. I just want to show you where we thought we reached and where maybe we thought we got a good value pick, okay? And then, of course, the emojis will explain that as well. The cheese emoji mean the Packers met with them. So of the 7 players, and did we only draft 7 players last year, Jacob? Am I thinking right? Wasn't it just 7?
I believe so.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys correct me if I'm wrong on any of this in the chat. I'm just kind of doing it on the fly. But of the 7 players that we drafted, 5 of them the Packers met with to the best of our knowledge. Now, keep in mind, Colin Oliver and Baron Sorrell don't have the cheese emoji, so I never seen it reported. Savion Williams wasn't reported until after the draft. Easton Butler got that information that they did actually meet with Savion, okay? So keep that in mind as well. But at the top of the list, you got Matthew Golden. We had a 34.0 grade on him, okay? Now, keep in mind, the 33rd team had him 29th. DJ's board had him 24th, so they had him right around where the Packers took him. We were a little bit lower on Matthew Golden, although 34, wherever we pick, that's going to be right there in that tier. I remember live, we were in Green Bay covering the draft, and we went around the horn and said, who do you think the pick is here? Who do you think the pick is here? I said Matthew Golden. It just felt like this was going to be Matthew Golden, even though it was a slight reach. But again, Matthew Golden had a 34.0 grade on him. His PFF grade on the year ended up being 70.5. So obviously Matthew Golden had a solid year there as a rookie. Now the next ranked player that we took was actually our 3rd round pick in Savion Williams. We had a 91.1 grade on him, okay? So again, 32, 64, 96, 91.1. We had a 3rd round grade on this guy, okay? And that's where we ended up taking him. We had him higher than Anthony Belton. Now, his PFF grade ends up being a 60.2. It's in the red because obviously he was injured. I think that's a hit. Anytime that you grade 60 or higher as a rookie, usually a pretty good indicator you're going to be a good football player in the National Football League. So to me, that looks like a solid hit. Again, Savion, team captain, cheese emoji, meaning the Packers met with him, and he was a top 30 visit as well. Matthew Golden was a top 30 visit as well. Now, keep in mind, Matthew Golden met the athletic threshold. That's what the heart eye emoji is. And, to the best of my knowledge, Matthew Golden was not a captain. I don't know for sure. If you guys have that information, fire it into the chat. So Anthony Belton, we had a 109.0 on Jacob. When we picked him, everybody in the room kind of went across the board like, that feels like a reach there, right? And you guys can go back and watch the tape. I said, yeah, Jacob, but I've got to check my ego and go, all right, Goody knows how to evaluate offensive linemen. Well, as we've seen, Anthony Belton graded out at 48.2. That does not mean he's not going to be a good football player, okay? It just simply means he struggled his rookie year. There's no one who's going to convince me otherwise. But what do you think about the first 3 picks there? And it's pretty interesting that we had Matthew Golden 1. Savion Williams would have been the better pick in the 2nd round, and then Anthony Belton would have been more worth the 3rd rounder, although we did still end up getting both of those players.
You know, I honestly sit here and I look at this board, and if you look down a few spots, it shows that we knew what the hell we were talking about, bro. I mean, Warren Brinson, Nazir Stackhouse, Jaden Higgins, Jaden Knoll, Woody Marks was absolutely killing it. Jalen Smith was one of the best cornerbacks out of the league there. Tyler Warren, I mean, even if you look at that cluster right there of what we got, we had Baron Sorrell, Colin Oliver, Nazir Stackhouse, Warren Brinson. It was all right there, dude. Like we literally did it. Like and I'm very, very proud of the board that we put together every single year. Matthew Golden, did he get to, be the shining star that we thought he would be? No. But could he be? And do I think he will be? Yes, absolutely. I also think the same thing about Anthony Belton, because we've seen shining moments from him, and I think that this offensive line this year was kind of a poop show. You know what I mean? Like we were placing guys in positions that they were not ready to play or did not play before. I think that if Anthony Belton gets set into a certain point where he actually like understands this is my position. This is what I have to do. Like, I think that he's going to be a star. I really do. Like, I still have not given up hope on that young man.
Me neither. Yeah.
And he's a dog, bro. He's a dog.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. And again, when you look at the rest of this board, Barron Sorrell, and by the way, shout out to Chester Marcos to spin that football. If you guys would take a quick second, hit that like button for us, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you're tuning in because you've seen the thumbnail of Christian Watson speaking, we already covered that. Just rewind back to the first of the show, and you can get that information and get out, so you don't have to hear us talk draft if you don't want to do that. We greatly appreciate you hitting that like button for us. So Barron Sorrell graded out a 121.4. Okay, so. Obviously, the Packers ended up taking him. He was a Senior Bowl participant. He was not, to the best of my knowledge, he did not meet with the Packers. He was one of those players that was kind of up and down according to PFF. Now, keep in mind here that Greg Cosell, 5-point bonus on Barron Sorrell. Loved him. The RAS was a 5. That means it's a 9+ RAS, so through the roof. Anthony Belton was a 7+. When I took the information down, we need to check that and make sure it did hold true. But again, Savion Williams, 3-point bonus for Greg Cosell. Greg Cosell really liked Savion. Greg Cosell loved Matthew Golden. So again, of the 7 players that we drafted, Greg Cosell gave bonuses to 3 of them. Again, that were Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, and of course, Barron Sorrell. Next on the list was Colin Oliver. The grade we had there was a 160.3. Okay. And keep in mind, we had a 160.3 on him. The consensus big board had him at 253. Right. And notice the injury issues, right? When 2024, we had it tagged, hey, injury concern here. We still took him. Obviously, he ended up having, I think he had surgery early coming out of training camp or what have you, because some stuff was lingering. And then we see him there in the final game of the season. I think Colin Oliver's got a chance to be a great football player. It's still early. We'll see how that goes. His RAS was through the roof at a 9+ as well.
Somebody said that they're calling him Baby Micah. Like, that's, if anything, is a testament. I mean, Baby Micah.
Even though he doesn't like it, yeah. And to me, what they're referencing there, if you were to try to highlight Micah and go, okay, what is it that Micah does well? What is his superpower? It's quick twitch, it's speed, it's agility. Yes. He's definitely got that. There's no doubt about it. Colin Oliver, that he is he's a little athletic freak. So yeah, some would say maybe he's a little undersized. Some would say the same thing about Micah when he came out too. Yep. And you see, he's running through 600-pound of offensive linemen on
triple teams.
So Nazir Stackhouse to 167.2. Obviously, 0 points on the RAS. Greg Cosell didn't say anything about him, but Greg don't cover every prospect. He kind of hits the guys towards the top, obviously. But the Packers did meet with Nazir Stackhouse, and he ended up being an undrafted free agent. So he actually was not a draft pick, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. So we're probably missing a draft pick here that maybe I did not tag with the GB. We need to pull the whole thing up there. If somebody would, who are we missing on this in the chat? And Jacob, if you'll kind of keep an eye on it. We got Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, Anthony Belton, Barron Sorrell, Colin Oliver, Nazir Stackhouse, and Warren Brinson. All right. Who are we missing from the draft class? Because I'm pretty sure Nazir Stackhouse, wasn't he an undrafted free agent? Because Warren Brinson, we had a lower grade on him at 178.7. I
believe so, yeah.
The RAS was a 5-point bonus, right? So Micah Robinson was a 7th
round draft pick, yeah.
That's right. And we ended up
letting him go. John Williams, yep.
Yeah, I'm going to hit that in just a second. So Warren Brinson, 178.7 was his grade. The consensus big board, guys, 296. So again, consensus big board said he was 296. We had a 178.7 on him, and look at where he ended up going. The Packers ended up drafting him, in the 5th or 6th round, somewhere around there, right? So I'm going to go tag our boy Micah Robinson real quick with the Green Bay thing, so he'll pop up there as well. And it's going to make you sick when you see him too, guys, because he graded out really, really well this year for sure.
That's Tulane? One that I just – was he from Tulane? Is that what I'm thinking right?
Yeah, from Tulane. That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we'll throw him in there now. Bang.
And then John Williams, I believe, was a Cincinnati guy. Had some back issues, didn't let him get into the mix this year, but, still have hope for him.
Yeah, John Williams. Okay, that's what it was then. So was Micah actually a draft pick, or was he – I know they signed him, so we'll just put Green Bay on it anyway. But, again, he didn't finish the season with Green Bay. Look at this, though, guys, 70.6. He got hurt this year – or, I'm sorry – it means there was less than 100 snaps is what the red means. It might have been injury. It might have been lack of playing time. But nonetheless, he was grading out pretty good. He was one of my draft crushes. I really, really like Micah Robinson for sure. So Anything you want to add there, Jacob? I'm going to see if I can find John Williams real quick and tag him.
Yeah, no, Jay Cole saying he was the 7th rounder. I believe that as well. And gosh, a lot of people give Goody a lot of crap lately, especially for his draft picks and whatever. But I really do feel like that he does a good job of especially finding good talent in later rounds. Like we've seen that throughout his career, through his tenure, through the Green Bay Packers. And you guys know how much I'm a sucker for, cheap. I'm a cheap guy, so like even stuff like we talk about with Walker, 7th rounders, this kind of thing. I believe that's a skill. That is a very good skill set, and I'm interested to see what's going to happen in this year's draft because man, this we got some guys that are sitting out there where we're going to start looking at them when we do these mock drafts and stuff, where it's just like, man, maybe we have some diamonds in the rough, and I think that's going to be a very, very fun thing to look for as we go forward into the season.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, John Williams, we had him captain, right? Cheese emoji. They met with him. Yep. I heart emoji, meaning he met the threshold and he was a top 30 visit. So they really, really like John Williams. Who knows, man? Maybe he comes out of the ashes this year after the injury and he's fully healthy. Maybe he could be someone who could help on this offensive line. You never know.
We got a lot of guys like that, Clay, that could. Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys that maybe didn't perform up to our standards, and how spoiled are we that we believe that like late round draft picks need to just all of a sudden they need to perform. They need to come out here and show us that they're Hall of Famers. No, like maybe it just takes them a year or two, and we got a lot of them. I was gonna say Glover. I don't want to sit here and be like I'm Emilio's boyfriend or whatever, but there are players that are still out there that have left a lot to be seen. Yeah.
And Clint C in the chat says, what's the deal with John Williams? John Williams ended up having back surgery, and they kept that kind of close to the vest for a while. Yeah. He came into training camp. I think he had it in training camp, or we were hoping to get him active at some point, and then we found out later on in the season he actually had back surgery. So I want to say that was something that he maybe tweaked in the offseason coming into his rookie year. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it actually happened in camp. Everything's kind of blurry right now. But yeah, Clint, that was the deal, man. He ended up having back surgery. And listen, we know how back surgeries go. He may never be able to play in the league. I hope that's not the case because it's obvious. There's a lot of emojis there, man. When you get that much artwork here on our board, it's usually a sign that, hey, there's something going on here. There's something special. Now, you'll also notice if we sort by the name and position here, you're going to see a spade, and we're going to do this again this year. These spades mean they are prime picking for the Packers, okay? And we lit them up gold for that reason. So, again, the more emojis you get over here, it's what it's signaling is, hey, guys, keep an eye right here. Keep an eye right here. This dude right here is probably on the Packers' radar heavy. So, like Shamar Stewart, TJ Sanders, Trey Amos, Emeka Egbuka, Jordan Birch, Josh Simmons, Tyleek Williams, and Walter Nolan, right? Those guys that have those, the reason that they were lit up with spades was like, all right, cheese emoji, heart emoji. You had the top 30 visits and all of that, some of them captains as well. When you get those three together with the top 30 visit mainly, that's going to put them in that spade category where you look up and go, okay, they are really, really on the Packers' radar. You guys know my draft crush was this dude right here, Walter Nolan. Obviously, he didn't make it to the Packers, and rightfully so. 19.9 was the grade we had on him. Again, notice this too, Jacob. When you look at all these guys with the spades, look at all the Greg Cosell bonuses, right? Like, obviously Woody Marks isn't on that list, but Shamar Stewart, right? Greg Cosell, 1 point bonus. TJ Sanders, defensive lineman out of South Carolina, 3 point bonus. Trey Amos, 5 point bonus. Emeka Egbuka, 3 point bonus. Jordan Birch, 3 point bonus. Josh Simmons, 1 point bonus. Tyleek Williams, 5 point bonus. And Walter Nolan, he said, was the best defensive tackle in the draft, hands down, even though a lot of people didn't see it that way. So
it's almost like the old man knows what he's talking about, huh?
He does. Now, if you sort this by PFF grade, and we go Z to A, so we can get the high number up here to the top. Here are your top graded rookies that were on our draft board last year. Okay, a lot, and again, some of these are red, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. There may be 5 snaps, right?
Sean Dolak. Oh no, man.
Yeah. Elijah Huzzy, cornerback, 90.6. Sean Dolak, 88.5. Jeffrey Bassa, however you say it, linebacker out of Oregon, 85.7. Quentin Skinner, I hardly know her. Wide receiver out of Kansas, 82.8. Cam Scatabo, All right.
Get it.
80.5. And notice it's lit up. It's not lit up red, which means he did play over 100 snaps. He played a significant amount of snaps before he got injured and was out for the rest of the year. Theo Weiss, wide receiver out of Missouri, 80.1. Tet McMillan was so frustrating, guys, because going in, we create our board before all the buzz starts and all that, and people start dropping on boards. That's the whole reason we do it. That's the purpose behind getting the board information in early. We were saying Tet McMillan is your top receiver, and boy, oh boy, people started buying into the hype. I listened to several podcasts, and they're gonna remain nameless. And well, he doesn't like to watch film. Well, he's kind of he's a bad locker room guy. He's this, he's that. He doesn't like football. And then all of a sudden, what did Greg Cosell say? 5-point bonuses, the way he talked about him, I gave him a 5-point bonus. And he said, isn't it amazing? So did Ross Tucker said this. There has been nothing said about Tet McMillan negatively until 2 weeks before the draft. Now, all of a sudden, a video surfaces from his freshman year where he said he doesn't watch tape other than with the team, right? And all of a sudden, he starts dropping on boards. Obviously, he was an absolute stud. We had a 6.9 grade on him, and PFF, he ended up grading out a 79.3. That was hands down your best player. Now, Luther Burden, we were higher on Luther Burden than we were Matthew Golden. 25.8 was Luther Burden's grade. He was the better receiver on our board when we took Matthew Golden. I'm not upset we took Matthew Golden. I like either of those as a pick, but I think we would all agree Luther Burden had a hell of a year. Last I checked, 77.9 was his PFF grade. The board is doing what the board is supposed to do, Jacob.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is, and it's pretty impressive, honestly. Like I said, testament to you guys, to Clay, obviously, and to Emilio. Emilio does a lot of hard work with this kind of stuff. You can also look down here, and you'll see other guys like Kobe King, Mario Hampton, Jihad Campbell, Wyatt Millum. These are guys that we also had higher on the board. Like it is pretty impressive, and now we've kind of fine-tuned, I think, our craft to the point where like this we're starting to show some stuff, man. And like you said, a lot of people are late to the party, trying to say that, we knew this guy would be huge. We knew this guy would be huge. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but like we have it on paper. So that's pretty cool.
That's what I love about the show too, is it holds us accountable. Like if we get something wrong, you guys could just go back and watch it. So this whole idea that people want to pretend like they had the answers and this and that, I could care less about being right. There's nothing that pisses me off more and will make me unsubscribe to a podcast more than I told you so. If somebody says that, well, I tried to tell you, I told you. Nobody, that self-edification is people repellent, period. I can't stand it. But the whole purpose here is to show, hey, look, we're putting the work out there. We're showing you, here's what we've got. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. We got to own up to it. I say it all the time. I'm married. I'm wrong all the time. Okay. I promise. I hear it all the time. So, a couple other things I want to hit here. Omarion Hampton, we had a 27.2 on him. Consensus Big Board had him at 52. All right. Jihad Campbell, 22.3 is what we had. Consensus Board had him at 32. Those guys graded out 77 and 76, according to PFF. Wyatt Millum, we had a 77.9 on Wyatt Millum. Okay. Dane Brugler had him at 96. 33rd team had him at 85. DJ's Big Board had him at 117. So we had him significantly higher than those three. However, the Consensus Big Board, notice Wyatt Millum, they had him at 42. So that's one that I can say we got wrong, but the reason it brung us down to 77.9 is because of Daniel Jeremiah's take on him, the 33rd team's take on him, and Dane Brugler's take on him. Right. The RAS, again, these are not our personal opinions. This isn't how does Clayton feel about Wyatt Millum. It's what do the people we trust the most put all that information in the database, and what does it tell us their grade is? Okay. Another one here, Abdul Carter, that was a slam dunk. We knew it was going to be 74.7. He was, I think he was the top player on our board, I believe. Tyler Shuck. I remember when we talked about Tyler Shuck. Tyler Shuck, quarterback out of Louisville, right? Notice the little whatever you call cap and gown emoji there. That talking about him having multiple degrees. Who cares, Clayton? It means he's very intelligent. Probably means he's quick processor, right? Think of Andrew Luck. That would be one that we had the cap and gown on, right? So the reason that he was so high on our board, okay, the main thing was Greg Cosell. I had to give a 7-point bonus. Greg Cosell, I actually bumped him up a little bit too, because Greg Cosell said this is the best quarterback in the draft. That's what Greg Cosell said. This is the best quarterback in the draft. He got raked over the coals for it. And then general managers started to reach out to him and sending him messages. This is what he said on Ross Tucker's podcast. He said, yeah. And I got messages from several GMs going, you're on it. You're spot on that one. NFL GMs love Tyler Shuck as a pro prospect. Okay. So we gave him a 7-point bonus. The RAS was through the roof at 5. We had an 83.1 grade on Tyler Shuck. The consensus big board at the end of the college football season had a 308 on him.
Jeez.
And we were saying, no, we actually feel like he's a top 80 prospect. Again, 74.6 ended up being his grade. Noah Williams, 74.5 was his grade. We had him at 104. The consensus big board had him at,
loved Noah Williams. Said that he'd be.
How many times did we draft Noah Williams in our mock drafts? Because it was just like he's always there because the consensus big board and the PFF big board didn't see him as high. Consensus big board had him at 215. PFF big board had him at 150. And look at all the bonuses, guys. Senior Bowl bonus. He dominated at the Senior Bowl, right? RAS was a 7+, I believe. Greg Cosell gave him a 3-point bonus. We had a 104.1 on him. He ended up grading out a 74.5. And, of course, Carson Swisinger, I think he ended up getting the Defensive Rookie of the Year? Is that what it was, Jacob? Something like that.
He was in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, it was some kind of award he won just the other day.
He was a baller, bro. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just, like I said, this is not me. This is Emilio and Clayton and everybody doing just their due diligence. This board works, man. It really does work. We're starting to see it come to fruition every single year to the point where it's like, it's undeniable, man. It is.
And so Carson Swisinger, we had a 48.9 on him. Greg Cosell, we gave a 1-point bonus for there. So a 48.9. The consensus big board going into the draft process, 107. And he ended up winning, like I said, that award the other night. And of course, Walter Nolan was my draft crush. The grade on him was a 19.9. The consensus big board had him at 27. That's why I kept talking about Walter Nolan going, guys, this dude right here. And the Packers met with him, top 30 visit. They met with him at the Senior Bowl. He's a captain. He met the athletic threshold. He ended up getting the spade, the whole 9 yards. That's why I was saying if he is there when we pick, got to take him. And I need to know where Walter Nolan was actually drafted because I don't think he was available when we picked. I'm almost positive.
Pretty sure he was not, yeah. I'm pretty sure that he got caught up a little bit.
Yeah, he was taken 16th. Yep. So, and again, people will go, well, why did he go 16th when he was 27th on the consensus big board? He was 33rd on the PFF big board, right? Well, again, they took him at 16. We had a 19.9 on him. Also, it's a tier 1 position of importance, right? Yep. So you're going to reach a little bit on those guys. You know, that's sometimes the cluster buster. If you've got those guys grouped together, even though they have a lower grade, they're in the same cluster. You're always going to go tier 1 over that. So, yeah. All right, cool. So there you go, guys. Just wanted to give you a quick rundown of the board and what it looked like last year going into the process. Somebody asked, where do we have JSN at? I think I had JSN as my top receiver that year. I can't remember what year that was. Was it 3 years ago, 2 years ago? When was that, Jacob? Do you remember?
I believe it was 3 years ago. Yeah, we had him up there real high. Yep.
I remember.
It was so high that we thought that he was undraftable, basically, for us. Like that was it basically wasn't going to reach us is kind of how we if I remember correctly that was.
Yes. So it was the LVN year, I believe. If I remember correctly. So I don't have the board in a database. If you guys followed the show, that's when we first launched the show. I actually had a huge whiteboard right here and had everything inked in. So you could go back and watch that draft and see where we had him. I think we had him as the top receiver. We definitely had him in the top 3 of the receivers there for sure. So anyway, that's it, guys. We're going to get out of here. Jacob, you got anything else you want to hit before we wrap up, man? Anything at all?
No, man. I mean, this is, like I said, such a testament to the amount of time and effort we put into this board, specifically, like, again, you, Emilio, Tim, everybody kind of pours their heart and soul into these boards. And then all of a sudden lately, it just seems like when you look back a year or 2, 3 after, it's really nice. It's really cool to see how actually like it comes to fruition. It's pretty cool. Honestly, like it's really intriguing to see what could be the next, who's the next Christian Watson, who's the next insert guy here. Like this is the funnest time of the year, man. And a lot of people that maybe like turn off in the off season, we've talked about that. Like, let's go, man. This is fun. Let's talk about it. Let's get it going. We're doing these mock drafts. We're gonna be doing a bunch of this stuff going forward, and it's just it's exciting. I'll tell you.
I've got a new tool I'm going to unveil tonight or later this afternoon if we have time. And I reached out to the person that created it on X, and I'm just going to kind of get confirmation, hopefully get approval. Hey, can I show this on the screen? I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. But basically, we're going to be able to walk through the entire offseason. We're going to be able to restructure contracts in one stage, then move on to free agency, then move on to the draft, and do a whole offseason together. It's going to be really, really cool. So that's the plan this afternoon. If I can get a response back, they're probably okay with it because I'm going to help promote it for them. And you guys need to check that tool out. Just let me get that buttoned up on the backside. So we'll be doing that a little bit later on today. Zach Will in the chat, best channel Packer wise. I done ran across. Appreciate you, Zach. Thank you so much for the kind words, buddy. Appreciate you, iRock. Everybody in here, man. You guys are awesome. We will be back later this afternoon. Probably do like an early afternoon show since it's Saturday and everybody's just kind of hanging out, right? There's no grass to mow in February, so we're good. We're all just kind of hanging out on a Saturday. So if y'all would do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on anything we do going live moving forward. That's Jacob. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.